Hey, doing my daily video for the Unis Honest tribute, and today it was Helium Therapy was the video that was about a year ago. My head's kind of like bubbling with all these thoughts and stuff, so I might seem a little distracted. But this video actually, it was really cute. It was really interesting. It was kind of, like, it was a little bit, it felt like it was, what's the word? Not cliche necessarily, but it definitely felt like a pretty obvious sort of gag or bit to do. Like, obviously, like, you put things through helium, it sounds hilarious. So it was definitely something that was like a little bit like, you always wonder if those jokes are kind of overplayed, but I think the boys did a really good job of it. I liked how they took that spin specifically to take an opportunity, like, or to specifically do the jokes of like, oh, how would you kill me if you like had to kill me, or if it was like an old Yeller situation, or if you were really just like mad at me or whatever, like all that stuff they were talking about. And also the like, oh, what's your worst heartbreak or whatever. And I feel like this was either the start or perhaps it's a continuation if it's been a previous thing of their humor bits of the, oh, Abigail, she broke my heart. Being the name Abigail for some reason is a really funny name and it works. So let me see if I have any other notes. Because that one I did go back to kind of rewatch bits of when I was taking my notes and things. Oh, and I really liked how there was so much laughter, and I think that there's something really beautiful about that, seeing like just two people having a good time and laughing together. Like, I think that was definitely like a big mood of Unis Honest and why it worked so well, especially during quarantine, because we're not hearing each other's laughter, we're not talking with each other, we're not getting to spend time together like we normally would. So like, that's definitely a thing that I think would work well. So anyways, my day though has been interesting. And when I was thinking about how I'm going to do my take on my spin on what, the year past video was, I was kind of thinking to make kind of an homage and talk about coffee therapy or exercise therapy or something. So I did have my coffee this morning. Like, I woke up and it was like another one of those days where it's kind of like, I don't wanna. Like, I just don't wanna, some days it's just like hard to find a reason to get out of bed. And like, I feel like motivation and everything is so fleeting. I don't know if this is just a human experience or something with my particular brain, how it works. So like, but sometimes things will seem very important or very motivating or very interesting. And then you might revisit that idea or that song or that piece of art or that fitspiration or whatever, and it does nothing for you. And I don't know what that is. If that's like, I don't know what you call that. Like, I don't know if that's just something of the human experience where you're constantly having to try to rediscover yourself, or if that's just something that specifically creative people maybe struggle with. I have no idea. And it's really frustrating because it's like sometimes some things like are really meaningful and moving to me, and then revisiting them, they don't mean the same. Like, for example, A Day in the Life of Markiplier, that video I think was released in February. I don't even know how I stumbled upon it, but it was really wonderful. And I think I found it, sometime in like May, and I was just like, I don't know, it seemed like such a perfect day, and it gave me sort of a sense of clarity of like, I'd like to be able to do kind of what he does in his day. But being able to hold yourself to that is definitely a lot of work. And he definitely like gets up early and works throughout the day. And I don't know if I have that in me. But it's definitely something to consider. But I watched it and it like meant so much to me. And then I watched it again later and it was like, sure, I guess. Like, just like kind of the apathy that sometimes happens when you revisit something that once made you feel like a certain way. I don't know what that is, but it's definitely something like that I always am dealing with, because it's very frustrating, because I think that there are some people who just have like a goal or an idea, and they reach that and they strive to get that, and they are trying so hard to do this thing that is very important to them, and somehow they maintain that motivation, or maybe they have struggles and they just don't talk about it. I don't know. But like, it's just definitely something that like I think about. And so going into kind of what worked for me today, but who knows, it might not work other days, or, you know, whatever. I got up and I had a cup of coffee and a couple pieces of toast with some apricot jam, because that's how I roll. I like that. And I was like, as I was drinking my coffee and eating my jam, I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to bed. I'm just gonna go back to bed. And I get an email from Twitch that Brian David Gilbert was having his 1000th mile of biking today on his exercise and gaming stream. And first off, just like Brian David Gilbert appreciation moment here. Cheers to you, Brian. Like, you are doing such incredible work, and like I really admire Brian so much as well. And like that's awesome that he, within 3 months, he's biked 1000 miles. And you know, I was thinking about it, and I like sometimes run a mile a day. And if I even did, or sometimes I run a mile a week, I mean, but even if I ran a mile a day, I would still only hit 1000 after like 3 years, not 3 months. So, cheers to Brian. Brian's doing great. Like, wow, I'm overtook by that success, but like, it was definitely inspiring, and it is a really nice and wholesome stream. And some days, like, seeing that notification that he's doing his biking and his gaming, like, sometimes it can be inspiring, but sometimes also like that sort of thing can be almost discouraging for me, because it feels like, well, somebody's doing what I wish I were doing, and they're doing it better, and they're already doing it, and they're already finding so much success, and they have a million people that are following them, and it's like, why even bother, you know? Do you ever feel that? Is that just me? But like, you know, today I'm really glad I cued in, and it was another one of those moments of just like, it felt like this monumental moment to share with all these strangers on the internet. Just like with watching the Unis Honest live stream, just with watching like other things like that. He hit 1000 miles, and it was a lot of fun. And he like pulled out like a ukulele or a mandolin or something, and he like played that song 1000 Miles, and like, what a gem, what an absolute treasure. And like, that's amazing that he's doing that. But like, you know, it's just like, part of me is like, I can't do that. I don't have an at-home bike, you know. And like, I think that's difficult, because sometimes we make excuses for ourselves, but also sometimes like we just don't have the same resources that other people do, and it's difficult trying to distinguish between the two, which is which. So anyways, but today that was inspiring to me. And you know, Brian was like, oh, if anybody's exercising with me, that's awesome. If not, whatever. And I was like, you know what? Since Brian's hitting his 1000th, I'm gonna do a mile run today. And I saw somebody else in the chat be like, oh, it's so cold outside, I really have to bundle up, I don't know. And I was like, oh, let's do it, let's go. And so I think the person was like Moxie Coxie or something. But anyways, so yeah, like the little things like that we form. So it was kind of, it was weird, but it was nice to have a little accountability buddy of a stranger. It's like, if I'm making that person bundle up, who knows where they live. They live in Canada especially. It was kind of a chilly fall day today, but actually quite lovely for a run. And I even did an extra lap block than I normally do. So congratulations me. Probably ran like maybe a mile and a half, is the only difference. But anyways, yeah, I never know with my like fitness tracker. It's really frustrating, because my fitness tracker, I don't just go into a sprint out the door. I walk a little while, right? To warm up and also to warm down. So my average pace usually floats somewhere around like 4 miles per hour. But like, I usually hit a max MPH of like 6 to 7. I'm not a fast runner, but still, it'll like, my health tracker will be like, oh, you did 29 minutes of walking. And I'm like, who's walking this fast? I would like to know, honestly. Like, I don't know anybody that walks like at 4 miles an hour, like normally, you know. I feel like for a lot of Americans, that's probably about a run, you know, or a jog or something at least. But it's kind of, anyways, whatever. That's that. I did the thing. Hooray me. And I was kind of like, when I came home, I was like kind of thinking about like, oh, maybe doing more, maybe going out for a second run. But I made some soup. My mom came over and dropped off like some butternut squash cheesecake or something, a few other things. She had just finished a book that I had loaned to her, Bittersweet. I might touch on that in another video. But anyways, I ate my soup, and yeah, now I'm kind of having one of those days where I'm like, when I did my dishes, but now I'm kind of like, what now? What do I do now? And this is always a strange feeling of like kind of buzzing with energy, but not necessarily specifically motivated, but also not feeling like complete trash. And it's like, yeah, so that's what I'm struggling with now, is to figure out what to do with this energy. So, but it's good. I was glad I got a run, and that my coffee kicked in, and that whatever, like helped inspire me. That was great. So, yeah, I just have like a lot on my mind. I feel like there's something else I might be forgetting, but I just really wanted to touch on that idea of like, I feel like there are some things that can either motivate or discourage us. And I don't know why I have that sort of like an intuitive sensitivity in my brain, like there's definitely times where I'll think to myself, like, I'd love to, get in great shape or be like one of the best, like, cosplay artists, with my martial arts background and things. Or, I don't know, like, be a good wellness coach or something. I don't know. Like, I have like all these kind of vague ideas, but like no idea how to get there. And like, I know that it's going to take work and consistent work. And all I can seem to do consistently is post these videos every day. And even the quality of those, y'all can tell me. But yeah, so I'm just trying to figure it out. And I think it's okay to try to figure out, but it's a very frustrating spot to be in where I'm feeling like I'm not at the level I like should be or would like to be. But also there's always that idea that somebody else is doing the work that you can do worse and they're getting paid for it. I just don't know how to get where I want to be. I don't know. It's a lot to think of that. But anyways, I do think I'm going to do some stretching. I was thinking about going for another run, but it is dark out. It's going to be cold. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff to kind of declutter. I had another idea of something I wanted to do today. Maybe play some video games, maybe read a little. I don't know. My head's just kind of everywhere, but it was good. Today was good because this last weekend I was kind of feeling in such a slump. I was like, I don't even want to run. I don't even want to like eat well. And I just went for a run, had some very healthy soup. So, and also I had like a glass of like hot water that like, they say like, drink a glass of warm water and like when you wake up and everything. The water comes out so hot on my faucet. I wouldn't be surprised if you could brew like a nice delicate white tea with how hot it comes out. It's literally steaming. So I did a glass of that, probably about 16-ounce glass of that. And like, it is amazing how that can just like clear like any sinusy allergy stuff. I don't know if it's a sure shot every time, but like, wow, like I was like, man, that may be that with the running anyways, but I digress. But yeah, I don't know what else really to say. My head's just kind of buzzing and I don't know what to do. And it's just like, oh, craziness. But I don't know, I'm looking up and we can always hope that this is the start of a good, healthy habit and that I can hopefully do more this coming week. So, all right, stay well.